Greetings, nerds and newcomers. My name's Austin Alesso. Having some video issues today, but that aside, I'm here to bring you D&D Help Desk, live from the satellite branch of D&D LLC, to bring you and anybody with any questions some answers. So, simply put, I myself, Austin, run the satellite branch, an offshoot for D&D LLC, a corporation that wants to help people play D&D more. Currently, Dave will be coming on the stream in a few days. You'll get to meet him. I'm the manager here, just a two-man team, and I am going to be helping anybody who needs help when they ask, from Facebook to Reddit or just to write-ins. d&dhelpdesk at gmail.com if you'd like help with that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and begin on Reddit. See what's going on today in the realm of D&D and any questions that we have. So let's see what we got here. This one's gilded, looking pretty good. Alright. How do I do a murder mystery plot? Need advice. Players have recently been holed up in a church and escaped from a prison in the middle of a civil war. They managed to free the priest of the church from capture, including a large amount of refugees as well, with yet another group of refugees showing up to the church's doorstep. I plan to make some of these new refugees spies, trying to assassinate the player characters. The spies realize that there are a lot of witnesses, and see an opportunity to cause some chaos. However, my party is full of people who have no utility at all. They have one spellcaster, and she has no utility spells. The rest are melee or ranged build with barely any utility. They do have good skill checks, sure, but I want to take them. I don't only want them to do skill checks all the time. Party that likes to utilizes damage over utility. That's a common occurrence. Off the top of my dome, I would definitely say maybe you could potentially rework some of the actual spies, or I assume assassins, from being less check build or less saving throw built, or just, make a bunch of kind of meathead spies, I suppose. That's a little out of the ordinary. I suppose we could do that. There's a Civil War angle going, so that's quite interesting. The multiple groups of refugees, you can always write them a bit differently, different groups, sort of a thing. Let's see what everyone else has to think. Use the rule of 3. Each question has 3 ways to find an answer, here by Leibs23. You can write the obscure clues the DMs like to write, but also make sure there's a way to get there using a skill check and brute force if necessary. Yeah, that's quite a good point. Definitely make sure there's multiple ways to succeed here. Of course, beating the enemies or killing them is one way. The party comes across a locked door. Behind that door is a bad guy's secret murder room. How's the party going to get in? Bloody manacles. Find out who owns them. Yeah, roll of 3 is not a bad idea as far as trying to get them to solve things. Not bad. So for this, I would have to say I would definitely say I have to make sure to have some pretty fleshed out NPCs. If they don't have any utility, like detect magic, speak with the dead, anything like that, it'd be hard for them to get clues after the fact. I don't know if anyone's proficient in medicine or not. They can always extrapolate and kind of expand on medicine check rolls to do kind of autopsy like devices, and potentially find things that were missed or things that would be seen to the unskilled eye. So, I would make sure to See, I would make sure to include a well sculpted in question or interrogate. Perhaps have the body have clues of the death. The player characters can more or less can investigate with a, let's see, medicine check. Let's see. I would also say make more clues available than you think that you need. A few clues. Not having detect magic or speak with dead spells may prove difficult. Go ahead and hyphenate that. Make more clues. Do a few clues. All right. Not bad for a first one. Definitely use clues a lot there, but that's okay. We will skip the Ghost of Saltmarsh, and if anybody interesting is listening in, maybe some points where we might not be able to listen. Ooh, dinner with Fiona Watcher, interesting. Let's see what else we got. Live stream, the magnetic condition rings. Here. So, I know we've been a lot about Rangers, but can we take a second to look at the spells known column? Ref Caboose. Alright, take a look at the other classes before we look at our Ranger homeboy. Always prepared, always ready for survival. At level 20, Bards have 22 spells known, respectable. They drink and know things. Bards are cool. Warlocks and Sorcerers have 15. Seems a bit scant, but Warlocks get invocations, neat, and Sorcerers get meta magic. I know Sorcerers have their own laundry list of problems, but at least you can sort of rationalize their numbers. Arcane Trickster and Eldritch Knight get 13. Holy cow. Wow, a third caster gets over half the amount of spells known as a Bard, the highest spells known class. I don't think this breaks anything, and really is just kind of neat. Having options is great, especially when your spell slots are so limited. Limited spell slots. Occupied Concentration. I know I left out Ranger. Well, that's okay. Certainly they have a fair amount of spells known. A level 20 Ranger has checks notes. 1,000-yard stare of disappointment. 11. 11. A Ranger at 20th level knows fewer spells than the Eldritch Knight. I know that Xanathar's Rangers got cool stuff. That's great. Wizard class has consistently said they don't want you to feel like you have to have all other resources other than the base version of the game to play. Well, base version of our Ranger bros know fewer spells than the Rogue, who has an invisible mage hand to give the BBEG a wedgie. 11. 11 spells known at level 20. What the fudge? Yeah, the Ranger class, far as base 5th edition, was pretty overlooked, unfortunately. They definitely have some deficiencies of trying to make them more or less a ranged fighter and a less than apt spellcaster of the divine variety. Yeah, I mean, other than kind of giving more divine spells options or even druid spells for the ranger would definitely help out. Actually, what we can do, let's go over here to the real handy side here. 5e tools. Let's actually double check this here. Spells. And we'll go ahead and I believe there is a way to filter it by class. Ranger. Oh. There, let's go to Ranger. All. No, Ranger. Good enough. These are all the spells that they get. Seems to be about 30, but there are known spells specifically. And go over here to class. Go to Ranger. So got. Yep, that's a big old 11 there. The 4-3-3. Yeah, so they're basically kind of half caster like an artificer. Well, but spells known 11. Not a lot. So basically, if we go down the list here, looking about 30 to probably about 50 spells, if that. So you have maybe about a third to maybe a fourth. All the spells that you can have available to be able to cast. Or some of the better ones, absorb elements. Hero wounds is great. Tangle, freedom of movement, Hail of Thorns, Hunter's Mark, Pass Without Trace, maybe Revivify if you don't have another healer of sorts, and Speaking with Animals and Plants.
Oh, that's hot!
Hey, LenHop88. Thank you for following. Welcome, welcome. Just looking at the Ranger class and how few spells that it has the ability to cast at max level. A paltry 11. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, the Ranger class trying to be a hybrid, we'll say. Failing at the half-caster part. Teams, I would say Wizards of the Coast. I'll say Wizards of the Coast kind of dropped the ball here on options for Rangers. Perhaps opening up the total spell pool to include some druid spells may be a kind of cheap fix for the lack of total spell cast. Of course, you can just buff the Ranger with more spells. Yeah, I think the Stars Halfcasters go the same spell slots, but yeah, their pool is real limited. Okay. Well, today I learned 11 spell slots. That's all they get. That's unfortunate. Past that. Let's see. Language, first character. 8 supplement, we'll skip that. Boy, Castle Ravenloft built. Nice. Liking that. I'm liking the visual representation. Definitely get an upvote for that. A lot of hard work. I got little stairs there. Oh, that's awesome. We'll pop into that and say, good job. I really, really like the look of that, despite its simplicity. The detail to the stairs is fantastic. Work you put that will definitely help the players better understand and conceptualize just how tall, how wide Castle Ravenloft really is. Ooh, not bad. Holy symbol of Ravenkind casting. Very neat. I like it. Let's see. How do you decide who to kill? Sounds interesting. Let's see what we got here. By Algorithmort. Yep, Algorithmort. At DM Academy. How do you decide who to kill? Need advice. Hey all, I'm an old school DM facing a classic problem. Someone in my group is likely to die. They're facing a lich. Okay, that's a common problem. But who dies is mostly my hands. I assume power word kill is coming up here. I want to be clear, I'm not planning on killing members of my party for plot or because I think it's fun. I think that's pretty bad DMing. However, my lich gets a turn. He has PWK on deck. Power word kill, 9th level spell. Any creature that has 100 or fewer hit points immediately dies, no saves, just dead. And everyone in my party will die if targeted. Facing a lich, but no one in the party has over 100 hit points. Huh, okay. That's not good. So I'm preparing my notes, and I have to select who gets targeted. Basically, I'm selecting who to kill. How do you make these decisions? For context, the party's level 11. Facing a lich? Oof. Only the barbarian has over 100 hit points. Okay. Alright, that makes more sense. I was about to say, there's no tanky member that has 100 facing a lich? That doesn't sound right. My current choice is to disintegrate the monk that has homebrew phoenix power to bring him back to life. Okay, and power word kill my paladin, who will accept his death bravely. While I real hope of not killing someone, that my bard will come in clutch with a counterspell on the power word kill. Oof, that one is a toughie. I will say when it comes to decision, it depends on how far you want to lean as DM protecting players and the mindset of the creature. If you take the mindset of the creature argument first and kind of going more toward that direction, liches are very intelligent. They're going to use their spell slots very accurately and try to target the weakest individual. Casting Maze on the Barbarian, casting Feeble Mind on another caster, casting things that they would intuitively know, whether it would be Constitution and trying to target maybe a rival wizard with a Constitution-like spell, like Cone of Cold, or anything like that, because they would know intrinsically that, like themselves, they are weak in that department, or dexterity on a very heavily armored fighter, or something like that. So, and then super intelligent monster, the Lich here, would prioritize them in the best way possible. Doesn't mean that the Lich knows everything, but it definitely makes some very positive assertions, and probably be pretty correct with them. I will say, now pivoting to the other side of the argument, that you as the DM not wanting to just straight up murder your players, having a very powerful gun here. Who gets shot? Who gets the bullet coming their way? On the one hand, you need, depending on your group, is your group going to more or less enjoy the battle one way or the other? At the end of the day, you're supposed to have fun, but going into Lich, I think, should always be lethal. That needs to always be on the table, a loaded gun, to put kind of fear into the players and to make it seem surreal. If it's a Lich that doesn't have power word kill or isn't very powerful, it's not going to have the same effect emotionally on them. Depends on how far you want to go. I would definitely say err on the side of caution if you don't want to kill your players and you're having fun, or your players enjoy kind of a lower stakes game. Your players are a mix of they're fine with high stakes, and it seems like the paladin is, for roleplay reason or actual person reasons, then go ahead and not hold back as much. It's up to you. That's what I would say. Let's see what everyone else has to say. Make decisions as the enemy. Lich is smart and dangerous. I like to be able to see who looks like the biggest threat. Not necessarily is. The Lich can't metagame. The prior. The Lich is really smart, might not open with the spell. He has time to identify the best targets. Don't plan ahead. Barbarian rolled a nasty crit. You bite your tongue. With high intelligence, wisdom, and a 9 insight and perception, he's doing a lot more than looking. Has a tech thoughts. With the Lich target, smart villains probably kill the healer. That's also a very good, obvious point. Lich would more than likely try to hit the weakest link. We got some with the monster no undead tactics for Liches. The bard mocks him target the bard. That's quite humorous. Alright, so yeah, I think that's thread. Let's see. There are two realms of thought here. You as the DM seemingly type right. Not wanting to wipe the party, understandably. Let's see. And the other being as a supra intelligent Lich. The Lich would naturally target the weakest link with spells that would be disadvantageous for them to save against or affect their, say, battle strategy. So we'll say it est barbarian being targeted with maze. Throw them to thought to the DM. The Lich would naturally target the weakest link with spells that would be disadvantageous for them to save against or affect in battle strategy. I say it personally depends how hard against the players you want to go. I think that fighting a Lich should be high stakes on the table. but you may have low stakes or even, I would say, players or game. We have low stakes, players, or even the game. Do what you think is best for the overall session and your group. Yeah, that's pretty succinct. Just thinking, it'd be great to have text to speech on right now. I could just speak. I'll look into that actually. I think it's pretty much it. Basically, 2 rounds of thought. It's up to you as the DM to kind of mediate, kind of find a center ground between Lich wanting to obviously murder them and them wanting to murder Lich, and also having fun with the session. I don't know about the party, what kind of game it is. So just do what you think is best, do what you think feels right, and try to have fun. All right, so we got that doesn't sound right. All right, on DM Academy, posted by Coastal Sailing. Dragonborn Barbarian says he gets 4 attacks at level 3. Need advice. Took over a new to me game / group as a DM. Okay, that's some red flags. There are a few sessions in and just hit level 3. Just wondering, took over a new to me game? Like the DM had to step away and they needed a DM, so you decided to DM as a player, or you're just a friend of the DM and you're... There are a few sessions in and just level 3. Player says the barbarian follows some path of the beast thing, which gives him claws, so he can use a short sword and get multiple claw attacks. Not up on whatever rules he's referencing. Is this real? There's no. Let's see, barbarian pass here. Barbarian. There we go. Beast. Oh, maybe he's referencing here. Path of the beast. Form of the beast. There we go. Here it is. So, form of the beast. 3rd level path of the beast feature. Claws. Each of your hands transform into a claw, which you can use as a weapon if it's empty. Deals 1d6 slashing damage on a hit. On each of your turns, when you attack with a claw using the attack action, you make 1 additional claw attack part of the same action. And we actually need to, it's actually cutting off some of it. Gonna have to fix that. Is it just for this? It is. Let's look at that later. A note. All right. So yes, it's just going to be. I assume the player's trying to attack with weapons in their hand and then also trying to get claw attacks as well, or just trying to get. Yeah, they're trying to combine multi attacks here. Yeah, 4 attacks as a level 3rd character is pretty insane. Alright, so for this one, let's go over here. I cut all of this. Oh, this is kind of a look at here. What is this from exactly? This is from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, page 24. Go ahead and include that here. They would not get 4 attacks, but they would get 2. Then by level 5 with the attack, they would get 3, just like the monk, and attack with their light offhand as a bonus action. Say that? Nope, you just get 1 additional. Would not be like monk. Nope. Similar, but not quite. Yeah, I believe the person down here pretty much got. Pretty much, if they dual wield as a feat, make a single offhand strike as a bonus action. That's with the dual wielder feat, though. Cool. I will go ahead and post that right there. All right. Hopefully they put a stop to that, or power creeps get real difficult, as 4 attacks is going to be utterly overpowering and just outdamage pretty much everyone else in the game at that point. That's a lot. Nice fan art here, Dungeons and Dragons. More fan art. Is the maybe we were the villains all along a good way to end a campaign? Alright, so we got here. By Mumlingo Evidoso. Maybe we were the villains all along. A good way to end a campaign. Need advice. To make this short, the player successfully impeded an eldritch ritual going to be revealed by the antagonist and his actions. Indeed, we're going to destroy a city and kill about 50,000 people, only to end a decades-long war. Sounded a little bit kind of like Naruto Shippuden a little bit. Make the unstoppable eldritch hordes back south retreat to their dimension, saving more than 1 million lives in the process. Yes, I know this is way more morally gray than evil, but it's indeed evil by an utilitarian point of view. And yes, the tone of the campaign fits, the railroadings evolved, and proper foreshadowing was given. I think my question for this is going to be more or less, are the players going to find that out at the very end without giving this proper foreshadowing was given? I wonder if they picked up on the foreshadowing. It's real easy as a DM to foreshadow having all the cards and having all the knowledge, and just over time players forgetting foreshadowing or just not paying attention to those specific details. I mean, I would say definitely if you think this is good, go for it. Let's see what we got here. And justify the means. Okay, stopping the ritual, villainous part. Okay, the thing is, they've already defeated the hordes, but they still don't know the menace is cyclical by nature. It's going to very soon return when the ritual is not complete because the elder god still hungers. Checking the comments often reveals a bit more insight. Yes, that would be important to know. So it's a perpetual cycle that's kind of trying to be stopped. Interesting. Now that you got me to think about it, there's a third option. The BBEG could use its large political power to create a task force responsible for preventing this cyclical menace from ever properly expanding again. But he was actually evil after all, since one of the large motives he would not do this is for opportunities for territorial expansion that this disaster would give him. forget where this quote is actually from, but good villain thinks he's right. A great villain is. Prey is good. Making players make decisions like this is good. They need to have at least a hint that decision is there. You just spring it on them after the decision point. It's going to feel like a shitty twist instead of a moral question. You need to make sure that is at least obvious in hindsight. Okay. See, I would make sure that your foreshadowing from the player's perspective is understood. It is easy as the DM to think that the players understand or even understand, pay attention, or even remember the foreshadowing presented. So if you feel that the players have a good grasp of the plot, I would say probably the issues at hand from their perspective. It's an part. Of course, you may not understand everything. That's what this prize comes in. I would say let to destroy a city in the decade-long war. Let them decide how to proceed with this plot twist. Oh, got any here in foreshadowing. Let's fix that. I would caution, just caution here, that some players may not like the feeling of I would say of cyclical doomsday. They may not like cyclical doomsday, but it harkens back to just eldritch horror and sounds like a great overarching plot. Let's say go for it. That sounds pretty good. Good to me. All right. Gone ahead and it's been almost an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and take a small break and we'll be back. All right, after a small break, we are back here at the D&D Help Desk. So, let's pick up where we left off. Counter map for outside Castle Ravenloft. Okay, I like that. It's a pretty good map. Going up through the old Svalich Road. Presumably by carriage or otherwise. The DMG. What we got here? On D&D Next subreddit by Mr. Roste. Reminder all DMs, experience or not, to read the DMG. Please, every single person I've met who plays D&D has never read that fudging thing. Sometimes it really shows. Just recently embarked upon reading the entirety of the DMG, beginning with a quick skim, and then a thorough once-over. For those looking to find some important pages, I'll list some of the entries below. Sending a combat encounter can be more complex than you thought, page 82. Several portions of Chapter 6 highlight your system for finding a magical item seller, downtime activity ideas, pages 125, 129, and 130. The questions related to this all the time, Chapter 8, Running the Game. Ah yes, Chapter 8, Running the Game, the most important chapter within all of the DMG, Dungeon Master's Guide. Should be read in its entirety. I would say it needs to be read in its entirety probably 2 to 3 times, honestly. Emphasis on entirety and reading. Don't skim the stuff. If you only read one chapter of the whole book, this should be it. Especially helpful for those due to tabletop redeeming as a whole, page 35. Wholeheartedly agree. Non-combat challenges, milestones, level advancement without XP, page 261. That stuff's more for if you're trying to kind of change certain systems, as far as just XP advancements. It's 264 courses, hero points, sanity, long-term madness, those sorts of things. Quick monster stat creation guide, 274. If you find these to be boring or inconsequential parts of the DMG, always take inspiration from wherever you can find it. Definitely found a lot of new ideas of mine after looking at the segments of this book. Not to speak of countless questions of subreddits like this one, already fully answered. Read the DMG. Edit. Read the player's handbook too. Oh, Red Gast put. I would also add this. Read the PHB too, and here put that edit in. Yes. Many rules that a DM should know are only contained in the player's handbook. Yes, that is very well put. Let's see, DMG is not a bad book. DMG is a poorly laid out book. People shouldn't mistake the latter for the former. I mean, I would say its organization probably could be better. There you suggest I read the rules to a game before playing it. That's a very groovy of you. All right. Go ahead and reply here. I also have the front pages of the monster manual that describes basic monster functions, labels, and abilities. Just read everything all the time. I'll say on point number 3, I would go one further and say that chapter 8 running the game should be read no fewer than 3 times. Or maybe just read it twice and take some notes. I am constantly referring to this chapter more so than the other ones by far. I would also add that I'm gonna say let me look here. I want to say chapter 1 and chapter 2 will have some stuff. Let's see what we got. World of your own, setting it up, creating a multiverse, creating adventures. Chapter 3 actually pretty important. And just how to construct encounters and villains and quests. Actually pretty important as well. Creating adventures. So at that chapter 3. Creating adventures also has a great bevy of ideas for quest. I would say quest creation and even typing. Chapter 4 is next with NPC creation as well as villains. Honestly, chapter 4. But yes, definitely read chapter 8, chapter 3, chapter 4, all the chapters all the time. Take some notes, refresh yourself from time to time. Pretty important. So I'm gonna go ahead and put an edit here. Say, heck, even rereading stuff helps a lot with ruling and even stuff you have forgotten. That's a good one. And upvote that. Oh, full adventure. Wow, skip that. Oof. Taking away a magical object without being a douche DM. DM Academy. Once again, need advice by Thing Troll. Hey there, my party's level 9, has a brass horn of Valhalla. So it's level 6. Oof. Okay, it was used twice. Once when it was discovered, helping a lot to clear the dungeon, and once again after the first ever dragon. Brass horn of Valhalla, just for a reminder of everybody, basically summons spiritual warriors here that allow you to basically have a bunch of summons. Who doesn't love that? And over items. I believe the bronze one is the lowest. Very rare. Alright, so the lowest one is brass. Gives you 4d4 plus 4 berserkers. Must be proficient with medium armor. and they're there for an hour. And once you use it, it can't be reused until 7 days have passed. That's just messed everything up. I have to get another scene here for this. Okay, so let's move on. Now it has some minor issues with the object. First one being the 1 week usage. As my players reach higher power levels, pacing changes a lot, more downtime. They'll be more available. They can take weeks between 2 level adequate adventures. So yes, finding good story pacing without having 10 barbarians deal with every encounter is going to be a pain. Another issue, horn is used by the rogue of the party. Wearing medium armor? Being the epitome of valor and strength, but a cunning dexterous lad. It says he needs to have proficiency in medium armor. Question that. Because rogues, I believe innately, do not have proficiency with medium armor, but have proficiency with light armor. Let's double check that. Yes, armor light. They don't have proficiency with that, so that's first problem. Not really he made the horn in my setting. So I think having a Valkyrie of Cord, right? God of strength and valor over in the Greyhawk setting, asking to get the horn back for a more worthy master. Players won't try to kill a Valkyrie because she tries to take stuff away. I think they're not murder hobo-ish. Don't underestimate how murder hobo-ish the party members are. That's number 2. And try to negotiate, bring the horn back, but letting the rogue a chance to prove that he's worthy, but taking a glorious quest, finding a T-Rex by himself. If he does it, he'll be recognized worthy of the cord, and the horn will be upgraded to iron. I think he might get a boon. The quest is really dangerous. I did the math, since Tyrannosaurus can only attack the rogue once, because he can't use an attack on the same target, and taking into account the rogue can use his reaction to take only half damage. The rogue can actually tank a few hits. As an inquisitive rogue, he can trigger his sneak attack by himself. Ooh, nice. And then he can really fight back, but it's risky, and a lucky crit can mean death. The player does not know that a T-Rex is less dangerous against a single target, and I expect him to freak out because of T-Rex. So it's actually a quest of bravery for both player and character, with high risk, high reward. It also means that taking away a magical object to help the party. I don't know if this is considered a douche DM move or not. I want to be a cool quest, not the DM is punishing us for getting a cool magic item moment. How can I convey this to the players without spoiling the fact that the quest is not as impossible as it sounds? Interesting. Let's see what we got here. The berserkers only last an hour. That is a good point. Name is King Troll. Does it post anything else? Other people are saying stuff. He does not. He does not respond. Okay. Well then. Yeah. So, first off, rogues do not get medium armor proficiency. The Horn of Valhalla specifies. Does it specify for all of them? You have to wear medium armor? Oh, it's specifically the bronze. They have different requirements for each one. Interesting. He did say bronze. I'm not reading this wrong, right? Brass horn. Ah, why was I thinking bronze? Was proficient in all simple weapons. Oh, there you go. It is brass. So it does have. Gotta double check myself. We Correct that first note. Always double check yourself. Or you wreck yourself. It's brass. It does have proficiency with simple weapons as a bard. Point 2. I would say to never underestimate the extent of how murder hobo-ish, just hyphenate that, the party is. I would say that the horn vowel is only good for 1 hour. It is also a horn, so using it during stealth missions prior to combat is essentially, let's see, using it during stealth mission prior to combat is essentially futile. It also takes an action. Overall, the worst effect of the horn of Val is slowing down combat for you as a DM and even overall for, I would say especially as a DM. Slowing down combat, especially you as a DM. Let's see. I would try to have the Valkyrie. Can't spell. Try to appeal to the RP weakness of the rogue. i.e., say greed, power, selfishness, like of shiny objects, etc. Get the rogue and the other players at the table, I would say, bought in to the quest and reasoning itself. Maybe dangle a different or even more powerful item for them, or even a boon as you mentioned. Yeah, that's not too bad. Definitely giving out problem items shouldn't happen too much. You probably should think about the items that are being given to the party and how it's going to affect the dynamic that happens. And best you can do is try to not take away things from the players themselves, but try to more or less try to get them to buy in and want to either relinquish the item for a boon or something else, trade, or even maybe get contacts, other forms of reward for it. And as well, you know, potentially contacts, boons, or better yet, try to get them to I say probably try to get them to just buy into it. Best thing you could honestly do. try to get them to want something else, want something more. Or if you think this problem is extremely problematic, maybe an exchange, maybe some other reward. I think that's good enough. We'll save all the items to give, though. This is not a deck of many things or anything like that, so it could definitely be a lot worse. Another village. Oh boy, this thing. DM Academy is keeping me busy. Posted by Beth in Torah. When to punish your players, offering advice. All right, let's hear it. When they want you to. This is hard for me to do when I DM, but I see a lot of DMs try and create a realistic world at the expense of player enjoyment. A lot of players I know, myself included, want to roleplay as a character who can do that ridiculous thing because I can never realistically do them, and that's okay. The player describes themselves lighting a cigarette with a massive torch in their hand for role-playing purposes, and everyone at the table's laughing. You don't need to deal them fire damage. Okay, that personally happened to them. That's kind of a weird call as a DM. Sure, it's funny and they're not in combat. They take d4 fire damage and move on. Most torches actually only deal 1 point of damage if you use an action to try to inflict damage onto an opponent. You can find that with equipment, chapter 5 of the player's handbook. D4 improvised damage, okay. But if there is combat coming or grumsh, forbid you are currently in combat, you just punish them for role-playing. Punish a player for making interesting role-playing decisions, no matter how unrealistic or silly they are. Players will be less and less inclined to role-play in the future. Worked on the other side of the spectrum too, punishing the min-max gamer for making their martial wizard mountain dwarf too powerful, which is a lot of fun, not gonna lie. Punishing them for playing the game while trying to have fun the best way they know how. Ultimately, it's about knowing what game your players think they're player. About knowing what game your players think they're player, and making sure you're playing the same one. Because D&D means something different to everyone. Edit, grammar, there, etc. Alrighty here. So, that's a good point. I'll see if they posted anything else. 7 hours ago, they have not. This one's been gilded. Also, consequence of interacting with the world does not equal punishment. Punish players for making in-game choices, said Galahad 423. Whether I agree with them or not, but I do clearly state potential consequences of taking an action to my players and play out what I think is reasonable and rational repercussions of those choices. Fail to treat the world as a real place. Maybe consequences for whatever action you take, but don't feel like any consequence equals punishment. So to roll anytime you're doing something to punish a player rather than simply doing it because it's what happened in the world. Check yourself and ask why you're punishing someone for their play choices. Don't take out your personal biases on players just because the GM don't like their actions. Don't punish players for playing their way. Absolutely. If you're acting no consequences, your action is meaningless. You just put there. Wouldn't say it's entirely meaningless, but I get the spirit of the word they're trying to say here. Let's see what we got. I don't want to comment on this. I want to comment. I feel that in a lot of the interactions of DM punishing players, it stems from the DM wanting their players to play a different way, or not wanting a certain behavior at the table and passive aggressively say hinting at that. We'll probably actually go back to the top here. I'm not sure I want to comment this on that. I think we're going off to more of the major point here. That, my thoughts. Role play stuff will typically be silly or extreme. As that seems to be the norm with most players. A lot of players, even myself included, when I play, like to kind of do silly things. I had one player before, basically as a undead individual. Essentially, they were a oh, brain, the word escapes me. What is it? A revenant of sorts. They basically try to leap off buildings at every opportunity, and monks will often do the same because of not taking fall damage. Do stuff you normally wouldn't be able to do. But I agree. This is definitely bad DM behavior if this has happened. If you are, hey, I would say, victim's a strong word. If you are a player and you feel that your DM is doing this, I would initiate a conversation with them about it. Say, if you are a DM and you are subconsciously, you are doing this, I would recommend talking about and what you don't like about the interactions or even RP moments with the players. Remember, all players, DM included, come to play for different reasons. That's how I would probably put that right there. Overall, I think that's not bad. Not bad advice. Oh boy. What is this poor person doing now? Alrighty here. DM Academy once again. Need advice. Oh, the queue keeps getting bigger. This doesn't even seem like a real word. You've going with that. Dealing with 7 beginners. Help. Well, that's your first problem. Too many people. Let's see. I've been DMing for about a year, and I'm starting with my second ever group this Saturday. My previous group had 4 players, good number, each with some TTRPG experience. But this new group is 7 players, all brand new. Ooh, boy. I've never played with a group larger than 5, and haven't DM'd without a veteran on the table to help out. Ooh. In over your head. Needless to say, I have more than a few questions. How does the game change more players? Simply put, any players over 5, so 6 and up, you have to restructure combat. Every combat in any module, you got to restructure, increase the enemies, increase potentially the space, make enemies have more HP, which could lead to tankier fights, more drawn out fights, those sorts of things. How to make sure none of them die in the first round of combat. They're all new. You probably can't to a certain extent, depending on how new they are. May not know about certain things. May not feel comfortable getting supplies, or even have access to supplies, or understand kind of what basic adventurers do. Don't know. How do you engage so many players at once? You kind of don't. People kind of talk amongst themselves and get bored, especially if there is not a lot of action or combat takes too long. What classes do you avoid for first timers? Anything with a lot of spells. Clerics, probably. And druids, they have a huge spell list. How do you deal if half the table is associated with the first 10 minutes of a 5-hour session? Oof. Let's see. Put anything. Put anything. Alright, a lot of people are writing entire. Ulchrist Liga. Writing 2 pages here. Well done. Don't know if any of it's good. Could all be bad. Probably not. Wow, there's a lot of people here. I think I'm gonna go with the succinct answer. Everyone's answering pretty long-windedly. A lot of paragraphs. Not sure. Probably need to put a TLDR here. Personally. Put Q1. Simply put. Let's preface this. As everyone else in this thread has put a lot of effort in lengthy responses, I shall be succinct. I forgot the extra. See there. Mine. Simply put, any encounters or combat with 6+ players must be rescaled and rebalanced. They really get me on the hyphens here. That's fine. All right, question 2. Let's see what we have here. They make sure none of them die in the first round of combat. Your enemies will more than likely be the ones to die in the first round of combat with all of the player action economy. You teach them how to play the game, say, formally. I'll put roles, items, abilities, basic flow of combat, etc. Formally, and hope for the best. They are new after all. All right, question 3. Let's see what we got here. How do you engage so many players at once? You don't do it well. A group of new players that big that aren't all good friends like Critical Role will more than likely, we'll say, not eventually, more than likely evolve into crosstalk and discussions. I would say try to keep the group together by recommending this to them. Don't split the party. Recommending this to them, don't split the party, as this will slow down the pace and leave a lot of players out. And I'll go ahead and close this up here. What classes to avoid? Any spell casters with a lot of choice, like druids, clerics, wizards, etc., are typically hard for newer players. How do you deal if half the table, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? How do you deal if the table is associated with the first 2 minutes of a 5-hour session? Try to get player buy-in and talk about cutting down on cross-talking during gameplay. TLDR. You seem to be in over your head. I would say that if you are not feeling comfortable having this many players, then tell them and try to work something out. You are committed to doing this. I applaud you and do think that you can succeed. I would highly recommend looking into resources about what other large groups have done to increase pacing of combat and play. I think that the best thing you can do is get combat down quickly and efficiently, or players will get bored and problems will arise, potentially as a result. Seem to be over your head. I would say if you're not feeling comfortable having so many players, and tell them and try to work something out. If you you are committed to doing this, I applaud you and you can succeed. I highly recommend looking at resources about what other large groups have done to increase pacing of combat and play. The best thing you can do is get combat down quickly and efficiently, or players will get bored and problems arise as a result. Okay. Best of luck. Oh, best of luck there. It is a big bite to chew. Personally, I've DM'd for about 5 years, going on 6. I wouldn't DM for 7 players unless I knew them all pretty well. That is a lot of issues to deal with and extra work you have to do as a DM in order to accommodate everybody. As well as all the extra work with combat encounters. Dungeons & Dragons have a lot of art here. Von Richten's Tower, okay. Okay, this one's interesting. Once again, back to DM Academy. Asking for all the help here. That's fine. So we got here. That's looking interesting. Hosted by Turkey Gizzard Lizards. Being a player in a rules unsavvy group. I looked it up. Unsavvy is a real word. D-Device. Currently DMing for a group that consists of my dad, 2 cousins, a girlfriend. Interesting. Okay. This campaign is likely going to end around the start of summer break, late June. Alright, so I'm assuming high school. Or early college. Since we'll all be away more and probably be able to schedule consistent games at the end of summer break, early September, my dad will start naming Prince of the Apocalypse. It's a long way away, but I'm pretty stoked since it's been at least a year since I've played a character. Rookie numbers compared to many of you, but still. The main thing I'm thinking about is that none of them have ever read through the player's handbook. Well, it's a pretty big book. Not many people want to read that much in order to play something. Or anything else D&D related. Asterisk. He's DM modules before, but it's been a while. He's more of the often I don't want to have to use my brain for entertainment type. Not sure if he'll remember much. Not as much of a problem with this campaign, since I can remind them how their abilities work, look up spells for them, and so on. But I don't know if that would be alright to do as a fellow player for take away from the DM's authority. And try to teach him, Dad, future DM, more of that, or is it serving as an idle looking up spells and abilities, etc. okay? Or is there an alternative? Handful of things. First of all, as a player, you don't want to step on the DM's toes. You're a guest at their table. There should be mutual respect that the DM should offer you, being a guest at their table, and that having respect for their kind of authority as a DM and kind of the hard work that they put into it. So I'll definitely, if you're feeling that you're having to help the DM a lot, either on rule clarification, make sure that they ask for it. You don't just keep putting in yourself inputs of actually, and things like that. Just have a conversation with them, how they feel about it, how other players at the table feel about it. Because you're kind of taking on almost a substitute teacher kind of role, or a teacher tutor, or I always say the word for it, a teacher's assistant. But as a DM, I would say that probably your dad needs to more or less be comfortable with winging stuff. If he doesn't want to read everything and the players don't want to read anything and they still want to play D&D, by all means, that is perfectly fine to do so. The rules are there not to bind you, not to constrain you, but there to show you a framework of which to play. You can throw all the rules out that you wish, but you need to communicate about it. You're going to do so. Basically, I would say that if he doesn't want to read the rules or want to wing things, that's perfectly fine, but he needs to talk to the players, understand that he's going to wing a lot of things, and things may not be specific to the rules. And he may go off script, or may make calls that break rules as written raw. May go more for raw rules as interpreted, or just flat out what they're feeling in the moment, rule of cool, that sort of stuff. But that's kind of some soul searching that he more or less needs to do. I would say, should I try to teach him? It's awfully, I wouldn't say cute, but it's awfully admirable. You're trying to look out for the group and even your dad's best interest here. Let's see if they posted anything below. Does not seem like they have. They'll put in their input. Running the game series with Matt Colville. Cannot recommend more. Definitely watch Matt Colville's videos. So good. Yeah, so more or less what I just said. Should I try to teach him more of that aid, or is there an alternative? Say I would talk to your dad about how he feels leaning on you and your knowledge, as well as the players at the table. You don't want to step on the DM's metaphorical toes and input knowledge or input rules or other things. The rules or other things constantly or without. Wow, my typing's amazing without their permission. I think that it is admirable that you are looking out for your dad and the group. However, your dad needs to decide how best to tackle issues of rules and winging it with the group. Players and DM here need to come to an agreement if rules or even basic gameplay standards are circumvented or even disregarded. Rules are there to set a framework for play, not bind. But everyone needs to understand how the DM is going to adjudicate rules. Okay, rules. Yeah, that's good. Wow, some typos, adjudicate, gameplay, standards, lots of D off. Agreement if the rules and basic gameplay standards are circumvented. The rules are there to set a framework for play, not bind. But everyone needs to understand the game is going to rules and be okay with that. I think that's not bad. Another one down. Talk to your dad regarding what he wants you to do and how you can help at the table. pretty much this. I'll leave the carrot in there, kind of superfluous replying to it, but go back. It still keeps my vote, right? It should. All right. Yep. Commander Astrid Claris. Pretty good art. Go ahead and say this is this only art? Not here to commentate on art, but it seems to mostly be art. Bad thing, but not like what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think that's what it is. We will actually leave this. Not quite the content we are looking for here. All right. Game Masters. Oh, that one. Should I go for fairness or story? All right, should I go for fairness or story? Karma back to 8, not 0. That's okay. Weird. All right, by my anonymous name. Need advice. So my group killed a hag. Not too much of a problem, but they are now being hunted by the night hag in the coven. Ah, yes. Once hags are in a coven, they don't like too much when you off their sisters, and they don't have their ducks in a row. Of course, most hags don't like each other and would probably kill each other given the chance, but if you take what they view as a pawn, or you take and weaken the coven, weaken their own power, it's kind of a personal assault taken too lightly. Perhaps they can indebt themselves to the hag. Perhaps they can work out a deal or even persuade the hag that it was in her best interest to do so. Not sure about the circumstances there, but just thinking outside the box. I've given them some dreams and exhaustion points just to get them ready for the next hit, which will be when it works as expected. Ooh, yes, the night hags have the ability to essentially assault you in your dreams, preventing you from having a long rest and giving you exhaustion points should you fail. Save, or maybe automatic actually. Now that I think about it, let's double check here. And we'll go up here. We will do home. Go to bestiary. Found this out the hard way too. Yeah. Yes, that you did. Bad enough when it's one, but when it's multiple, it's pretty bad. Nightmare Haunting. They last for at least an hour. Your hit point maximum reduced by 5. And it will kill them should they go to 0. Yeah, it's more or less a timed issue. So, the reason I ask, should I go for fairness or story? Because one of the players swapped character at this incident in the hag is only after those responsible for her sister's death. I focus on fair or story. I'm inclined to story so this character won't get hurt until they kill the next heaven. It's always nice to get help from the hive mind. Hive mind is fickle. Some advice is good, some advice is bad. Let's see, we got person has responded a lot. That's what they had. Other night hag go after the other party members as well for assisting their target, and as such, making it harder for them. I thought of it that way. He's going to be so pissed when he takes a hit to his health and doesn't get the benefit of a long rest. Yeah, definitely see the hag. If you're, which side are you on? Definitely see that. See what else. Like is not. The hag is keeping tabs on the party while engaging in its revenge. Says Marlowe's Ray. And is where the new person has joined the band of petty mortals. What I start with would be a few dreams. Then slowly ramp up the nightmare portion. And attempt to dissuade them from engaging. Don't push too hard, but hags are smart. And hags are smart, incredibly petty, so fresh meat will just keep that in her mind. Thank you. His dream can be exactly that. I'll push them that the hag are the bigger threat now and not the cult. Thank you. A lot of people here have already answered. Okay, so player changed the class because they were having fun. And okay, so a lot of help here. We won't spend too long. I think the help here has been pretty good. Let's see. Should I go fairness or story? Or my player swap character? How do I say it? The one individual made such a good point. Yeah, Marlowe's son right here made a very good point. That's pretty good. Okay, as Marlowe's mentioned in this thread, give some nightmares to the new party member to dissuade joining them is a great idea. Let's see, it's a great idea. Do what you think is best with the compromise of fairness to the player and the intentions of the hag. Or don't compromise at all and pick one. Side idea. What if the players try to convince the hag that killing her sister was in the hag's best interest? I'll say best long-term interest. Maybe they can indebt themselves to the hag to spare themselves. Or even make a deal with her in some way. I feel that negotiations sound interesting. That's fine. Kind of reminds me of a Critical Role and more or less the Hag and the Cupcake. LinHop88, you're going to sleep soon. Well, thank you for joining me. Have a good day. Get some rest. We have a great day tomorrow. I'll catch you next time. All right. When it comes to fairness or story, you want to typically balance both, or maybe not balance at all. Maybe that's your style. I'd say probably be fair to the players, depending on which one you pick. A lot of moving parts there, and there's a lot of information about the party and the actual conflict. We don't know. Right, 50 minutes ago, Dungeon Masters. Something that's not Dungeon Master Academy. Let's go for it. By Ron Lyle. I could need a little help with my underwater tentacle portal encounter here on Dungeon Masters subreddit. First, spoiler warning, if you're any of these people, stop reading. Important to have. Also, not sure if the right sub. Let me know if not. No idea. Now I'm planning out my next campaign and struggling a bit with the design of a certain encounter. Let's see. What I got so far, a local fiefdom at the sea has come up upon hardship as the rich fishing grounds are recently devoid of fish. So investigation, the player characters are meant to dive down and find the following. Vision world leading to the plane of water. Fun. Portal is held open by a giant, think hill-sized monster, reaching through with its tentacles and luring in mostly creatures like an anglerfish. Creepy. Like it. Unbeknownst to the surface dwellers, local merfolk have already made an attempt to destroy the monster. So is it a kraken on the other side, or just an anglerfish giant monster? I think hillsides, I'm thinking kraken. Anyway, unbeknownst to the surface dwellers, local merfolk have already tried, but failed in a desperate attempt to at least hinder it from entering our world. They swam through the portal and all turned themselves to stone while grabbing rocks, each other and like crab-like legs of the monster. I've seen a picture of army ants building a temporary nest like that. Okay. They're trying to basically anchor it with their bodies. She's in Europe. Well, it's definitely getting late. Definitely midnight or 1 over there. I think the setup should be interesting, but I struggle to think how the actual encounter could play out. Thoughts so far. Tentacles attack the player characters. I can simply chop them off and the portal closes, but that would be most lame. Depends on how hard tentacles are. But yeah. Be a bit simple. Maybe some environmental puzzle. Perhaps portal is some underwater cave or canyon, and the player characters need to bring down the walls somehow, or at least bury the portal, if not seal it. All the while being attacked by tentacles. Okay. Maybe some merfolk survivors are nearby and know something that helps. What? Hanging the merfolk would add a nice touch and maybe make an ally for BBG that the campaign is not expecting. I want this counter to be memorable and not just a simple hack and slay, but I struggle with creative ideas for this one. I have appreciated. For reference, this would be at the end, first at the campaigns. The player's character might be around 6 or 8. Pathfinder, first edition. Charging and head first is hopefully out of the question for them. Thank you. Just about to ask, what level is this? 6 to 8. It's a giant hill-sized monster. Okay. Alright. Let's see what we have here. No one's answered. Alright, we can do the first. Upvote. Well, we have a few options. I think I'm leaning more toward interior dungeon. Kind of like the whole way to defeat this thing is not only get to it and avoid its tentacles and exterior defenses, but then also go ahead, enter the creature somehow, and then find your way through its dungeon-like anatomy, or even exterior itself, maybe fighting off parasites within it, or stuff like that. You can kind of riftworm from Gears of War, Astral Dreadnought interior, perhaps, that sort of a thing. I think that'd be kind of cool. So that way it has not only tentacles attacking it, but it's a puzzle inside of how to beat it. Maybe there's some kind of blocking mechanism on the inside that is controlling it. Ooh, maybe there's something on the brain that's controlling it and commanding it to do this. You have to like get rid of the mind control device. And that's the puzzle. I have thought of a way to include all of your points. I like the idea of the creature being the dungeon. The PCs will get toward the portal and speak to some merfolk that tell them that the monster is being controlled by something and made to do this against its will. The players will have to get through the external defenses of the monster. Tentacles, shell, entering somehow. Once inside, it is variously dungeon-esque. I'm pretty sure I spelled that right. I did. Precariously dungeon-esque in its design and physiology. There are internal defensive mechanisms. Maybe parasites. Immune system response, etc. They have to, etc. Okay. They learn and have to get to either its heart or brain. I vote brain. To find an arcane mind control device. I'll just put brain. I don't include this. Find a mind control device. Deactivating it is the puzzle. Maybe having to affect its internal maybe body white blood cells. Oh, we could do white blood cells. They don't probably want to go to germ theory to sci-fi with this. Although yes, definitely that episode of Archer there. Like what, season 6? They have to activate, maybe having to affect its internal body temperature, or maybe access different nodes within different organs. To size of a hill. I'm assuming a big hill. Organs or areas to be activated. For inspiration, think about the riftworm in Years of 2. Um, let's see. Here's World War II. Or actually, maybe even Lord Jabu with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Hope this helps. Octopus have 3 hearts. That could be fun. Yes, 3 hearts could definitely be something. That is for sure. Cool. I don't know. Just think that sounds pretty interesting. Large monster insert. It's kind of the puzzle. You have a, water puzzles inside, buoyancy or air bladder or something like that. Strahd dinner talk. All right, Curse of Strahd. I've run through this campaign once prior. So, by Intayama and Curse of Strahd subreddit. Story. Okay, so my players just had dinner with Strahd, and from Strahd's perspective, everything went smoothly, maybe even too much so. Most of my PCs are pretty anti-Strahd before dinner, and I felt like this would get really interesting. Unexpectedly, they all seemed to hold back on everything. On top of that, they somehow agreed on bringing Irina to him. Better yet, try to convince her to come to the castle. The other thing is, I went ahead and gave some of my players some of the mysterious secrets from Mandy Mod Primer. Warlock is an unfinished spell from Morning Cannon, which he might be able to complete during the campaign. He has the pact at its home. He said that he got the boon with the spell that later became his pact book and made the pact. PC had this unfinished spell that was written in a very hard to understand cipher. He doesn't know who made it, doesn't know how powerful it is. Funny thing, he disagreed to give Strahd his pact book with the spell, so Strahd could help him figure out what it is. Kind of seems like they made friends with Strahd. So yeah, Strahd will copy that shit and 100% use it against them at the last fight, if not earlier. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Not much of a question here. Much of just telling me what happened. Of course, they want an answer. Hmm. It seems that your players have, or players want to be friends with Strahd or just not get on his bad side. Maybe out of fear. They want to make friends or just not enemies with Strahd. I would play along. Strahd will Strahd likely use whatever they had against them even each other. So I like what you are doing there. Maybe have Strahd try to introduce party conflict or even corrupt the wills of the party over time. He will make sure that he wins no matter the cost. If they are around him for long enough, I think that this should be seen as well as the rest of the ugliness. I would say Strahd has done, and the poison of his influence. It's cool. Seems definitely interesting, trying to friend the vampire. I don't know how it's going to work out. Alright, D&D next. What we got here? Tastes like Owlbear 7. What sort of things would vain characters use in a D&D world? Probably illusion cantrips to make themselves look better. In the real world, a lot of products contain super weird stuff from plants and animals. For example, ambergris from whales to be used in a lot of perfumes. A popular red food additive, carmine, come from the ground up shells of an insect. D&D 5e world, monstrous components might a super vain character used for their appearance, like Monster Hunter, but for fashion. I like this post. Like maybe some super rich NPC uses carrion crawler venom like Botox. They could even hire the PCs to restock. Maybe someone farms carrion crawlers. Dangerous business. I'm looking specifically for flavorful D&D 5e versions of extended hold hair gel. Preferably one without any ethical dilemmas, like killing intelligent creatures. Have gelatinous cube hair gel. Been neutralized. Really, any suggestions for clever products would be appreciated. Bonus points are also spell components. The idea that Pard and the Wizards split up, do their shopping, then wind up with the same store for very different reasons. Let's see. Other people put stuff. Alright. Want fairies in iron wire cages. Sprinkle their dust on your face to apply an age reducing glamour. Glamour produces insufficient or malicious. Dunk the cage in water for a few minutes, then reapply. You don't even need to feed them, but quickly dispose of any vermin that come within arm's reach of the cage. Is exceptionally messed up. Not a bad idea. All right. The reply. So you could keep a giant slug or a flail snail in captivity and harvest its slime for hair gel. Flail snail hair care. That lasting cold that really make you shine. Someone already beat me on the gelatinous cube. Alright. Someone already beat me to it. Oh, great minds think alike. Somehow that happens. Well, what can we think of other than that? Perfume. Guy self. Alright. Vain characters. Hmm. Well, super vain characters could have uglier creatures around them to make themselves look better, but they're thinking more of components. Do do do. Ooh, I like that. Let's see, what about elder brain juice having temporal reducing capabilities? Got nine. Temporal reducing capabilities. The brine, once ingested or applied to the area, would slow down the aging process. Significantly. Perhaps the local vein baron knows a dark secret about a, we'll say, an illithid civilization down below the countryside. He keeps them around, so he prevents or stifles any campaign into the Underdark to deal with them. Maybe in exchange for some of that sweet brain brine. When other people ask how he ages so little, he reflects and says that it is his I don't know, grandmother's pie recipe. Something like that. All right. I'll make it ingested. All right, Beth, leave it open. So brain brine. People ask. I think it's pretty good. Alrighty. Gotta use a character's blood. Let's see if we got a DMA. We've got a lot of them. Alright. Alignment. Let's check the alignment one out. Seemed interesting. So we have here, we have chaotic good, lawful evil, chaotic evil, good, altruism, beginnings, joy, hope, contentment, evil, selfishness, endings, pain, despair, misery. I feel like joy, the antithesis should be misery, 0.3. Hope, despair is good. Contentment, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think pain is the antithesis of joy, but overall pretty good, I think. Chaos, disorder, law, order, randomness, consistency, gratification, delayed satisfaction, nihilism, commitment, nothingness, existence. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. I mean, constructively, you're able to basically don't help me at all. I don't know more than or. I don't know, devils being lawful evil makes sense. Devils, wait. If I consider demons to be sent by the devils, they should also be lawful evil. My D&D perspective on DMA Academy. I know the difference between demons, devils, and D&D. I don't think this is obvious. I also can think of a better example at the top of my head. Don't agree with the whole demons and devils point. I'm not sure what they're trying to make there. Pretty neat and good overall. I would say, though, that joy at say number 3 of good versus evil, joy and misery should be the antithesis of one another. Yeah, maybe contentment. Contentment may be greed. Perhaps contentment should be antonyms of greed. All right, that's about it, bro. All right, I got about a half hour left here for the shift. Let's see what else we got. Let's not do best. Let's do new. See what's new. Kind of seems like a lot. Oh my goodness, this is a lot. Oh my goodness, it just keeps going. Is there a TLDR? Well, I guess I know what we're spending the next half hour on. Okay, I'm kind of intrigued now with all this. Oh man. Ooh. I imagine a lot of people are just going to bow out of this one. This is a lot. All right, buckle up. I'm gonna read fast. Got to. All right, Mr. or Mrs. or whoever, Mango Mooney. Guaranteed happy end for perfect game. Requires vampire fight. Discussion. Clarify in advance, I am not above punishing parties, and I myself have a total of 5 endings prepared, including the you guys lost against Strahd. You theoretically won, but the druid made a deal with Yogg, destroy all good and nice. And unexpectedly, someone with that name is an evil power. Now everyone will die, and you guys won the whole game, but kind of forgot Strahd comes back. This proposed ending is not about any of those cases, but about me and you, question mark, offering players a guaranteed happy end if deserved. Can I say happy end? It makes me think this individual, they made a typo or is non-native English speaker, perhaps? We look out for that. I have no idea if this here would be a discussion, a guide, or something entirely different, since it's not like actually fully noted down stats or such. So if you feel the flare is wrong, feel free to suggest something else, I'll change it. That's how I will play this ending if it's triggered, and since maybe something will actually do something like this, I'm putting it here for consideration. A lot of emoticons here. Be warned to elaborate and put examples in, so this is a pretty long post. Put it lightly, this is like a quarter of a research paper here. Maybe a third. Very extremely short version. The players have done all of the quests that make Barovia a better place, befriend lots of NPCs, try short battle, then during final battle against Vampire, give up those befriended NPCs. I don't think I'm going to read all this out. This is going to be a lot. Alright, see ya. See you later, kiss. Alright. I think I'm going to do some skimming here. Probably the best thing. A lot. Alright, then NPCs have HP. Track anything other than initiative. Basically, they're making an army. NPCs will heal the party. They don't have HP, so don't track it. Pains will come in, and the vampire are about as dangerous as a knockout goblin. Maximum involvement and intention for good. Got a chance for them to die at the end, let them TPK. Final thought to the bottom. Trigger list. My logic for unlocking this perfect guaranteed ending. Okay, so we're thinking more of kind of RPG, like little bits of Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, or Mass Effect 3. So Argon Fossil's Beacon. So a bunch of examples, which if you haven't done Curse of Strahd or know about it, will do a whole lot of good. 3 Feigns, Mandy mod. That's got to be mod for Curse. Alright, a bunch of good things they could do. That would be positive. So like characters spent in-game weeks trying to do good. Some NPCs won't make it until the finale because this is Curse of Strahd. Have to kill an NPC from the trigger like this. That point will be ignored to keep it fair. Okay, so that's 80% of the list here for the best ending. Normal final battle. Strahd will finally get down. Normal battle. Once he's done, come back. I think I have to lock him away. So basically, they can seal him away. Not guaranteed. It's fine. Big map. Large token. Got some music. A ritual to do this. Lock him away. Alright, fight mechanics. Right. Exothanter, the Lich, the Amber Temple. Tell them that it's not an option. They'll be trapped. In this case, they finish the fight in the minimum of 10 rounds of extremely painful hits. Definitely some translation issues here. Perfect Barovia. Okay, most people are free. Save Velocity from tyranny, correct transformation, winery from destruction. Potentially Shroud free ending. Now, might be the last only chance the people of Barovia get to repay the party. Oh, basically it's buy-in for the NPCs to try to get them freedom. And one in a lifetime chance. Okay. They skip like all that right there. Just all that's basically what that means. A lot of going on at length here. A lot of slang, perspective. Other YouTube vid. Okay, so some questionable DM behavior here for emotional effect. Okay. Yes, PPOG. Let's see. All right, kind of an action sequence here with like Gandalf arriving, saving them, possible NPCs to help them. Right. The unlosable battle. Any that wants to do the ritual have healers next to them. Okay, music there. Where ravens are helping. All right. Barrier. Dark powers. Exposition about the dark powers. They roll high. A lot of exposition here just based on a die roll, or I guess 4 or 5 die rolls. Okay, so basically they can invoke literal angels or the goddesses to come down and basically auto win the battle. Okay. Final thoughts. This for me as DM will feel satisfying as a gift for a well-played game. No chance for a party wipe, no risk more spending split session time to whittle that one boss down. Epic actual battle to properly fight Strahd. He's the main man. They don't 100% my game. It'd be faster at the ritual timed counter. So kind of their feeling about magic items not mattering as much as story. It is very easy to not trigger this ending. You feel they don't deserve the entire land to run for support. They'll make it happen. Maybe percentage of how many allies they get. I don't want the finale to be easy. I want it to feel good. Fight tension should feel the same. Just that one version can have them TPK 3 feet away from having won the campaign, and one lets them get a mega agitation when they most need it thanks to the power of friendship. So, commentating on this. I guess I would say that not everyone wants to necessarily have this kind of infight. Seems to be geared toward like very hard earned, I did everything almost right kind of an ending. That sounds like an extreme plus challenge kind of ending. Okay, let's get some docs down. Just wow. This is one of the longest and say thought out slash a rambling post of ideas that I have seen. I wonder how many sleepless nights it took to create these ideas, let alone type this post. Use a lot of emoticons, I will too. That these ideas for what I skimmed are good, but too over developed. I would say it's probably too overdeveloped to happen, or too overdeveloped. Probably too overdeveloped. I'm not sure how many groups would succeed on I'll say that. Probably out of 100. Let's see. These ideas for what I skimmed are good, but overdeveloped. You have thought of a lot of ways for them to occur, but they're but there is no doubt some changes I'm not gonna go too long-winded in my discussion. I guess I could say this I would say probably needs to be a handful of smaller posts to digest easily. I like the enthusiasm. I like the enthusiasm and full of ideas. I like the enthusiasm, a full of ideas. But I say would caution on over prepping this hint. For your sake. A lot of content, but I think kind of quantity over quality. Too many ideas for you to really retain or even remember all of it. Better to have maybe like 2 or 3 good ideas and go from there than 5. Couple of questions about oozes. DMA. Campaign takes place in a siege. Basically, the party managed to help the forces of the city repel the ground assault. The idea I've been building up is that the besieging forces will try to use airships to throw oozes from above into the city proper. Ooh. Questions are, how much damage could an ooze take from falling? I assume probably regular damage, 1d6 per 10 feet. I think they would splatter where they land and then reform and start moving around, but I need to make sure. You don't have to make sure, you can just go with it. Sounds cool. What form would an ooze take when it isn't confined to that of a dungeon corridor but out in the open? Depends if it's a cube or not. And a parachute. Oh, I like the parachute idea. I would say that the standard fall damage of 1d6 bludgeoning damage per 10 feet fallen would still apply. But hey, you are the DM. You want to waive it? You can. So I would caution against breaking verisimilitude and verisimilitude. Maybe creatively, the oozes bounce like rubber balls when they land and take little to no fall damage. Maybe they are covered in some acid resistant rubber. Question 2. They depends on the ooze. Gelatinous, spelled that wrong. Cubes are cubes. Other ones I feel are like melting pudding. Sounds that are ambulatory. They can shape themselves to a degree, like the gray ooze and its camouflage of a wall. This is what I would say. Oozes are fun though. Oozes are fun. New. D&D next. Now you need Warcaster to cast spells with a weapon and a shield in your hand, but what about just a shield? Jimmy has it right here. Technically, there's a lot of spells that can cast while holding a weapon and a shield without needing Warcaster. Set that aside, assuming you got a component pouch and belt. You can cast all spells while equipped with a shield and empty hand, lacking a focus. What Jimmicky said. Pretty much answers it right there. Hey, let's see what we got here. 2 more minutes. Academy. Does armor like Ifriti Chain require attunement to gain the AC bonus? Well, if it says attunement, then there you go. Needs attunement. If not, you don't. I'm using Ifriti Chain as example armor that has AC bonus additional properties. Require attunement. Doesn't require attunement with +1 to the armor. I'm unsure whether unattuning the piece, but continue to wear it as armor would cost AC bonus. He gains its non-magical benefits. For example, magic shield that requires attunement provides benefits of normal shield. I think the Ifriti Chain doesn't say anything about its bonus AC not requiring attunement, so it would require attunement to gain that bonus. And yes. And then this person goes and says that. Cool. Now pretty much done. This is the answer. Probably should specify. As that. Right. What we got? Hot. All right. D&D blog. Nice. I can see skull. That looks pretty good. Not gonna lie, that's pretty accurate. Little 1,000 teeth right here. Action oriented. Ooh, villain action. Take a look at this. Curious. See, there's an alignment issue here. Have to do. Oops. All right. Hey. Thing. Fewer hit points. I remember him having. AC very. Well. It regains all hit points twice a day on death. Vegetation rejuvenates it. Okay, that seems kind of crazy. They recovery, lose 10 points in one condition affecting the creature. Thing. An attack misses 1,000 teeth, sink and swim. It may make a DC 15 dexterity check. If it succeeds, it may sink into the swamp and gain partial cover until the start of its next turn. It must move half its movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Bring along any creatures it is grappling. Initiative count 20. One with the swamp, cast spike growth. Vector in 3 squares. Big ol' sweep. And basically, swamp vegetation comes to life and doesn't affect it. Potential scaling. This seems kind of crazy as Fey. Mashed together using GM Binder. I mean, ain't CR6 anymore. Not with Paragon of the Swamp. I'm not sure. I would say it's not CR6. Looking like CR probably 10. With all the extra stuff. I mean, you can't really affect it because it can just get rid of its hit points. It has like 190 hit points. It has Restrain, Swamp. It gets like 4 actions or 5 actions a turn. Okay, pretty crazy changes to the fight. I had to guess. I would say that he is closer to CR10 with all the abilities and such. Day recovery seems really strong as a bonus action. But really cool. Actually, it's a bonus action, so you're kind of paralyzed. It seems cool as a bonus action. But is the intent to prevent all all or most effects, or I guess status conditions. Any conditions that deprive him of his action would prevent this. The most minor. Okay. Post that there. All right. That it is PM. So what we are going to do is we are going to try to read a channel here. So let's see who we have. Oh, we got 17. Okay. Alrighty, everyone that's still here, everyone who's not, appreciate the time we have had together. But all things must come to an end. But don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and raid. Oh, Satine may not have it, so you can raid her. Nope. Go ahead and read that. So I'm off. Everyone here, please be respectful. Satine, have a good raid kit. Go ahead and command that. And with that, we are off. Good night. I will see you on the morrow.
The world is full of inspiration. It just depends on how you spend it. Whatever inspires you, you gotta grab it and make something.
Take D2s and